thoughts or suggestions or ideas? How did it strike you? Okay.
How many incarnations of the script have you gone through?
2.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
1 and then
2.
I sent it around. Yeah, 2 came after 1. Sent it around to a few people like Barry and Dave Alford and just some people other writers that I respect, and got some feedback, and then went back in and shortened some places that were long and changed some things and added some things. There were a couple of arcs that I felt needed to be developed a little bit more, but they're still not there. Having heard it now, I mean, I have many ideas for things I want to change.
What'd you feel? Jim, what did you start with? What was the first impulse?
What I wanted to do was write a play. I knew a guy that kind of destroyed his life through his behavior, and he ended up sequestering himself in his room with the shades closed, and he sort of just kind of destroyed himself. In his case, it was with like carbonated drinks and bad lifestyle, eating bad food. Right. No, I mean, this was a lot. But anyway, it just struck me that that was a rather interesting way to go. And so I took that as the basis of it. I upped the ante a little bit in the kind of things that Jerry did. And then I just started doing sketches, like the doctor in the post office, actually happened. I mean, I stood there and watched this guy have this conversation, very loud with his doctor outfit on, and he started talking all about this dead celebrity that he had been hanging out with, and he wanted to write a book about it, and I'm thinking, this is just wild. And so, I mean, that's basically what I do, is try to just observe things like that, and then incorporate them into the piece. And a lot of the things that are in the play actually happened, or in one way I knew about them or heard about them. And it's interesting how you can kind of start to piece them together, and then they sort of start to meld together and help you move on to the next piece, and eventually, you're brilliant.
Why did you decide on a slaughterhouse with the pigs there? What were you thinking? Was that just as low as a person could get, or is that just an arbitrary idea that you were working on?
I don't know where that came from. I wanted to do an interview, prospective interview that he would have with somebody, and then I wrote, how long have you wanted to be an Oscar Mayer wiener? And I thought that was funny, but then I said, well, where do I go from here? And then it just went dark. And I started thinking about the pigs, and I started thinking about the correlation between Jerry and pigs, and how pigs, are smart, but they don't, nobody teaches them anything, and they just sit and eat, and then they die.
Right.
And then I thought, well, Jerry's kind of like that.
Right.
He eats, and he has no responsibilities, and he and he feeds his excesses, and then he croaks. And I thought, okay, well, Jerry and the pig are about the same. And then I flushed that out from there.
He's
be more delicious after he dies.
Your question about pacing, Jim, I like that the scenes are short because it gives us that feeling like his life is going by out of control. So that's really nice, and even shortening them, leaving us with a sense of, well, as long as we know him, we don't have to know those other people that way.
Right. Yeah, they don't. There's not time to develop the interviewers.
Yeah, I like that feeling.
But I mean, if you can picture 2 or 3 main characters, and then just this group of floating actors moving in and out of these little tableaus happening through the play, and then the connection of the friend and Jerry as they talk, and Doctor and Jerry as they talk, and people moving in and out.
I love your repetition when somebody else says a line that the friend has said, or or anytime a line is repeated is really nice because that happens in our lives. So
Yes.
maybe there's another chance for you to bring the music back at another time or something, because we can't tell the difference between like a joke invention and when he says something serious, like I like music. Maybe we don't take that seriously.
Yeah, I think I need to just hammer on that a little bit more and just make that a little more apparent.
But don't take out the killing. I love that he kills that guy. That he strangles the homeless guy. It's horrifying. If he's a nicer guy, I think he can pull it off. Eh?
He doesn't kill him.
Oh, I thought he did.
Well, I think it's ambiguous.
You only get 4 months for it.
You only get 4 months for strangling him.
Yeah.
That's just like whatever.
Yeah. Hey, Jim?
But in the other jock interview, what I liked was the one where the
Miss Harris?
Miss Harris, and I think that comes in that sometimes people are victims of their environment, and he didn't come in as a bad guy. He's just lustful in his heart, and there's this woman. At least that's what I got from that little scene. Was that there was this the situation that he comes into, and I like the way that you played it. That there was nothing he could do to prevent this, idea.
Well, he came in very open, and
that he
he
was
was
a
trying
sexual
hard,
predator.
and all of a sudden he's being attacked by.
Yeah.
And that
And
doesn't
I
happen.
thought that was the most evident scene that I had. That sometimes, besides the appearance perhaps, that someone can be a victim of their environment. There may be another predator there, and there's nothing you can do. And even though you might have this thought in your head, he wasn't really guilty in that situation.
Right, and also it can affect you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, in that situation, as he goes forward, that's just one more stone in his backpack that he's carrying.
Yes.
And,
That goes along with what I was thinking about, which is, I'm not sure, does he ever get a chance to make choices in his life? Is he totally on a track that he can't control?
Yeah.
Because, we have these outside forces that are fighting over him, and putting these things in his, putting all kind of obstacles and temptations and complications in his way. Does he ever really have a chance to make choices?
well, I think he makes them, and they're all not good. And then when he finds out that he's got something to live for in his life, he starts to try to make good choices, and he starts to, you can see he sort of rebels against friends. He says, I can't do this now. I can't die in.
That's the idea.
Yeah. I mean,
To me,
he starts to make those choices.
It was a cautionary tale of if you wait too long in your life to make a choice, because because you say that what he does is, with given a choice, he just retreats.
Right.
He doesn't really ever make a choice. He gets married because the girl's pregnant. He goes to this job and then he gets fired without fighting over that. It's like all these things happen to him.
Right.
And the things he tries to do, but his creation is in a dark little mushroom place. All his creativity is not ever seeing the light. The things he's trying to change never come to the light. So to me, it's more of a cautionary tale about not making a choice when you can. Okay, that's what I am.
Or making bad choices.
I don't see him making any choices, really. I see him just backing away from choices.
Well, I think if he made choices and they were good ones, he wouldn't be in the situation he's in. But maybe he could make more good choices and then still be pulled back into his bad behavior. But I think he is doing that when he goes to work after he has the baby, and he says, I can do this job. I think you'll find me to be a good employee, and all of a sudden he's just being dragged down by.
That's what I'm saying. Circumstances continue
to get him until he eventually just kind of gives up.
Right.
Until he gets the shot, and then he says, "Well, people are going to give me a shot. I'm going to make my own. I'm going to start inventing things. I've been doing that for a while. What do you think of this?" And he goes out, and it's the equivalent is writing plays and sending them to theaters. It's like, yeah, I can do this. I can. I got a 3-foot stack of rejection letters. Oh, okay, great. So I mean, it's the same kind of thing. I mean, it's like you go out, you try, and as he said before, I try, but it doesn't work, so I take a drink, and then I try again, and that doesn't work, so I take another one, so I can't try a third time.